All right, let's talk about AI. I mean, it's everywhere, right? It's deciding what news you see, who gets a loan, and even what your next job might be. But with all that incredible power comes up, well, a massive responsibility. So today, we're diving deep into one of the most important topics in tech right now, responsible AI. We're going to explore how we can build these systems so that we can actually trust them. Because, the first step is really understanding what happens when we can't.
And that leads us to this question. It seems simple, but the stakes could not be higher. We're handing over so much of our lives to these systems, so we have to ask, what are the real consequences when that trust gets broken? Because when these incredibly complex systems fail, the impact isn't just some technical glitch on a screen. It's a very, very human one.
And this isn't some sci-fi scenario. This is real. Imagine a hiring tool that's supposed to be objective, right? But it learns from decades of biased hiring data. So suddenly, it starts automatically tossing out applications from thousands of perfectly qualified people, maybe because of their gender, their background, or even just the name at the top of their resume. This is exactly the kind of thing we're up against.
Yeah, that hiring tool is just one example in what is a very high-stakes game. We are not just talking about buggy software here. We're talking about systems that have the power to amplify discrimination, to spread misinformation like wildfire, and to have serious, completely unintended consequences on real people's lives.
So how in the world do we stop that from happening? Well, the answer lies in this idea called responsible AI. And really, it's a promise. It's a commitment to building artificial intelligence, not just to be smart, but to actually be good. It means we have to weave our core human values, like fairness and ethics, right into the DNA of the AI, from the very first line of code to the moment it goes live.
Now, to make that a reality, you need a set of rules, right? A kind of moral compass for developing AI. And these aren't just, nice suggestions. They are the bedrock principles for creating technology that we can all rely on. So let's break down the big ones.
First up, and this one is huge, is fairness. See, here's the catch. AI learns from the data we give it. And if that data is full of our own societal biases, well, the AI is going to learn those biases too. The whole goal of fairness is to actively hunt down and fix those biases, to make sure the outcomes are equitable for everyone, not just for a select few.
Next up, we've got transparency. Think about it. If an AI turns you down for a loan, you deserve to know why, right? You can't trust something if you have absolutely no idea how it works. Transparency is all about cracking open that AI decision-making process so we can actually see how it got from point A to point B. And this just lays it out perfectly. On the left, you've got a black box. Your data goes in, a decision pops out. But what happens in the middle? Who knows? It's a total mystery. But the goal, what we're aiming for, is the glass box on the right, where every single step of the process is clear, visible, and totally understandable. Which brings us to our last core principle, accountability. Okay, so when an AI system messes up and causes real harm, who's on the hook? The programmer, the company using it? Accountability means we don't get to just throw our hands up and say, oops, the algorithm did it. It means we have to set up clear lines of responsibility for what an AI does, good or bad.
Okay, so having principles is fantastic, but how do you actually enforce them? How do you make them stick? Well, to turn these great ideas into day-to-day practice, you need to build some guardrails, and that's where a more formal structure comes into play. And that structure is called AI governance. The best way to think about it is like the operational blueprint for responsible AI. It's the whole set of internal rules, the review committees, and all the processes that a company puts in place to make sure its AI systems are built and used safely and ethically every single time. A huge piece of that governance puzzle is managing risk before it becomes a disaster. It's a cycle that never stops. First, you have to brainstorm all the ways this could go wrong. Identify harms like bias. Then you figure out how likely those harms are and how bad they could be. After that, you build in some controls to deal with the biggest risks. And here's the kicker. It's not a one-and-done kind of thing. You have to keep a close eye on the system even after it's out in the wild. Now, this is how organizations figure out what to tackle first. A risk heat map like this helps them see everything clearly. So an issue that's both highly severe and very likely to happen, let's say a medical AI that gives out dangerous misdiagnoses all the time, that lands right in that high-risk red zone. And that means it's a drop everything and fix this now kind of problem.
Okay, so we've got the big principles and we've got the governance framework. But how does this stuff actually work on the ground for the people building these systems? Let's get into the nitty-gritty, the actual tools and techniques that bring responsible AI to life.
This is where the rubber really meets the road. On the left, you see the before shot of that bias model we talked about. But by using specific tools to mitigate bias, things that can, say, reweigh the data to give underrepresented groups a fair shot, developers can literally retrain the model. And what you get is the after scenario, a fair assessment for everyone. And that is a real, tangible fix.
And that's just one tool in a growing toolbox. We're talking scanners that can find a bias in data before you even use it. We've got explainable AI, or XAI, which are techniques to help us understand why a model made the choice it did. Add in rigorous audit trails for accountability, privacy tech. You get the picture. It's a whole ecosystem of solutions, all designed to build that essential trust. So all of this work, the principles, the governance, the tools, it's all building towards something. It's building towards a future where we don't have to second-guess the technology that is so deeply woven into our world. A future where trust isn't an afterthought. It's built in from the very beginning.
And you know what? We are seeing serious momentum here. This isn't just talk. Governments all over the world are moving from just proposing ideas to passing actual enforceable laws. The trend is crystal clear. Doing AI responsibly is shifting from being a nice-to-have to being a legal requirement. It's pushing us all towards global standards and even automated compliance.
At the end of the day, here's what it all comes down to. Responsible AI isn't about slowing down technology, it's about steering it in the right direction. The ultimate goal, the whole point of all of this, is to create human-centered AI, systems that actually serve us, that enhance our own abilities, and that operate safely and reliably in a way that truly reflects our shared human values. So we've seen that the principles are there. The tools exist. The foundation for building AI we can actually trust is already being laid, which means the final question isn't really about what's technically possible anymore. It's a question for every single one of us. With all this power and all this responsibility, what kind of future are we going to choose to build?